Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for your continued support. The 26th February today was a big day in the political space. Both Jubilee and ODM party were holding their respective NDCs. According to me, the ODM NDC in Kasarani was a big success. Even the Jubilee NDC was a big success. But in this video, I wanted us to look at some two aspects. I want us to look at critical analysis on ODM NDC in relation to President Uhuru Kenyatta's speech there, and also look at the failed coup by Jimi Wanjigi at Kasarani. And I want to pick up with the one for Jimi Wanjigi because I personally followed up to the latter. So I wanted to attend the Jubilee NDC in town. So I think arrived a little bit late. Arrived I think around 10:30. Then the queue was long because people were still getting in, and the president also arrived. So when the president arrived, I think there was that mishap in terms of security because they also didn't want more people to get inside there, but they had allowed a chunk of people to attend. So I could not wait, and I decided, no, let me just go and have a snippet of what is happening at Kasarani. So I picked Uber from town, and just around Ngara, there was a bus, and I think this is the bus that was carrying youths who were putting on ODM shirts that are actually branded by the name of Jimmy, and they were actually chanting slogans of Fagia Water, which are associated to Jimi Wanjigi. So initially, we actually thought that it was ODM. And, I remember very well that Jimi Wanjigi had promised that he was going to take 2,000 delegates to attend the Kasarani NDC by ODM party. So it was a well-scripted. It was a well-script. It was a very good script. So the Uber guy was actually behind this bus. Then we just went and I disembarked a little bit back. Then I walked until you arrived at that footbridge where you cross over and then get to Kasarani. So I decided first to take an aerial view from the footbridge. Before the entrance by Jimi Wanjigi, and I think you can see it here, before this entrance, there were already some ODM supporters who are around the road there. There was a group that was already there. They're just standing by the roadside, and there are also some women and some youths who are also selling the ODM merchandise there. You see the caps and these ones that they put in the hand rings, they're actually selling them there. Now, when Jimi Wanjigi arrived, he went through with that convoy, and they went, because the team was actually ahead of us, so we actually found them now getting inside there. So when they actually arrived there, they got inside, and through the gate, they're now just roving around. And by that time, I think Raila had already done his speech and Raila wanted to leave. So that's why we realized that Raila delayed because the police had to clear that group, had to pave that group, so that that group could leave the way for Raila to leave the stadium, because Raila was supposed to head back to attend the Jubilee NDC in KCC. So that group was around there. Then I walked in. By that time now we walked in, and I just mingled around it there. Then I realized first they were just people who were speaking Luo throughout. Majority of those people were Luos, and that is not of importance to me, but I also realized that there were some university students there, because you'll always see how they mingle. So that happened, and now people started piling up because now Jimi Wanjigi was attracting attention there. Not that all those people who were there were actually for ODM, but then that attention, because the police now had also barricaded that way. You remember the event was at the Kasarani Gymnasium. So I think he negotiated. At some point, I think he produced a paper to the police. I don't know that it was a court order, or it was something that was showing that he's an ODM NDC, and he was allowed in. So he was actually allowed to the stadium, but alone. He did not go with this other group, because this other group remained outside. So when he got there, of course, we did not get in. But then what we saw is, again, he was removed and was brought outside. Then I think there was an altercation between Sifuna and the police, because when he was removed from the Kasarani gymnasium, I think he was removed by ODM delegates, and some people say the MIB, the men in black, you never know. So he was out here, he wanted to at least address these fellas, but that did not also see the light of the day. Then he was taken to the police post. I don't know how long he took there. When he came out, he now went to Githurai. So now me, I did not go to Githurai. Then I just came back home because I think now the place was also becoming hostile and I was carrying the cameras. So when I came back and I realized that his mission, he went now to complete it in Githurai. After that, he came back and gave a press conference at his coach home. So we are going to listen to that press conference a bit. But this is what Jimi Wanjigi was doing. He knew very well that ODM was not going to allow him to attend the NDC, but he just wanted to lay a trap to ODM party so that he can paint ODM party as a party that now embraces violence. And the truth of the matter, there was an element of restraint. Because if the delegates, or even outside here, there will be a confrontation between Raila and Jimi Wanjigi supporters. But even outside the stadium, there was no such confrontation. In fact, when they were just roving and dancing, people were by the roadside, people standing by the pavements, and no one really dared maybe to confront them. So for that, I think that one worked out. That is why when he left and realized that he could not now get to the stadium, he went to Githurai. And if you listen to his rally in Githurai, he was now saying that the Kikuyu nation should resist Raila because he has been mistreated in ODM. He wanted to leave ODM, and he knew very well that ODM was not going to give him that presidential ticket because they had decided it's Raila Odinga. He went, and what was his mission is, one, to paint ODM party as a party of violence. Two, was to incite Raila against the Gema nation. So that they will say, I am one of your son, but I've been mistreated. That's what he did. And I want you to listen to a snippet of his press conference back home here.
Walinishika huku Kasarani. To attend my party's delegates congress. We were welcomed until we got to the entrance of the VIP. And at that entrance, the Secretary General ordered some goons to chase us out. I forgive the Secretary General, for as they say, as they did when Judas betrayed Christ, they do not know what they are doing. But I wholly hold the party leader, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, responsible for what has happened today and what has happened to me. All I asked was a fair chance in this party to compete for the presidency of this party that I have loved so very much. Their answer has been kicks and blows throughout, as demonstrated today.
Another trap that I think Jimi Wanjigi was laying, he also wanted to be arrested so that he can now start propagating the narrative that Raila used the state machinery to silence him. He was going there to expose himself. And because he had been, I think there was a court order for him to surrender the guns that he was having. Remember the gun story? He was just laying a trap for him to be arrested while trying to attend an ODM NDC so that he could link the two. But then I think ODM did not fall for that trap. So guys, that is bit of what happened. Now, before we look at Jubilee, the ODM NDC, and the afternoon session exactly, if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, I want to request you kindly subscribe and also click the notification bell so that when we publish a video, you'll be notified. I realized that Kalonzo Musyoka was conspicuously missing, and the leader who represented Wiper there, Chirao Ali Makwere, actually told the audience, because he realized that was already an undertone there, that Raila and Uhuru knew where Kalonzo was. But remember, Kalonzo had attended the Jubilee NDC. Martha Karua was also missing, and I think there was an assurance. I don't know whether there was an assurance about Martha Karua, but then that also tells you about what is still happening in this new alliance. But then, do you understand? Do you feel it was nice? It was just comfortable? And of course, someone was also missing conspicuously is Lee Kinyanjui, the Nakuru governor. I'm going to do an exclusive video on that. But then I think if you read the mood at that gymnasium, the people were very happy. I think it breaks from the monotony of it. It just shows what exactly can happen in any case the Azimio takes over the next government. The mood was very good. Then President Uhuru Kenyatta's speech was thunderbolt. And I want us to look at it. His speech, I think, is what stole the day. Even Joho also did a good, but I think President's speech stole the day because it was anchored on some 4 aspects. Uhuru was there to talk about demystifying the narrative that Raila is a state project. And I think that's why he even went there. He did not mention about the state project when they were in KICC, the Jubilee NDC. But when he was in Kasarani, he mentioned that Raila Odinga is not a state project. And of course, you can ask, Raila has been vying in this country. That's not the first time. Raila has been vying for the last four times. He has tried 4 times, except in 2002 and 2002. So that also came out because he realized that competitors were using that to try to shoot down to underestimate Raila's presidential bid. In his speech, I also realized that he tries to harbor Raila's presidency, not on the political, not for it to be persecuted in the political space, but as him as a statesman. That is why he mentioned that I am not here for Raila as a politician, but Raila as a leader. Uhuru Kenyatta took his time to explain what the handshake was all about. And he was so specific that when Raila Odinga joined the government through the handshake, they were working together not because Raila took a share or wanted a share of the government, but Raila was there specifically to just support him government goals. So he's actually saying that now that when Raila is vying, he's also going to support Raila Odinga unconditionally. Now, if you look at his speech, it was also heavy on the BBI rebirth. And because, they revisited this narrative that the Building Bridges initiative was not meant to create positions as it was actually peddled by anti-BBI crusaders, but it was something to make sure that it actually cures the winner takes it all narrative. So that is something that really came out of that, and I think they specifically took that podium. Uhuru took that podium to just explain a bit of why he is supporting Raila Odinga. And he actually wanted it to be seen as, even though he's actually endorsing Raila Odinga, and he was very sure that the ticket is going to Raila, but that could not be made very public. So guys, in my own opinion, I think the Kasarani event was a big success despite of the hiccup. But then, my punchline is this: Jimi Wanjigi seems to be heading to Kenya Kwanza because in part of his plans to disrupt or to interrupt the Jubilee, the ODM NDC, was just to try to portray Raila Odinga, and he was just staging a point of exit. People have always asked, if you know very well that you want to vie for presidency and ODM is not going to give you that ticket, what do you think? And Jimi Wanjigi do not stand a chance of winning the presidency himself. I see him going to team up perhaps with Moses Kuria and maybe find a way they can now try to fish out Raila Odinga from central Kenya. But what I realize is Jimi Wanjigi, in whatever he's doing, the secret hands of Raila Odinga competitor. Because if he was very genuine, he would have just left and go and hold his press conference. But he went to Githurai and did not attract even the huge audience. In the Githurais, that's where every politician gets the audience. But unlike other politicians, I think he did not get that audience. But he went there to say that that region should not vote for Raila Odinga because they've been mistreated. The truth of the matter here is even that region cannot vote for him. And even if they were to vote for him, he do not stand a chance of winning. So my own understanding here is Jimi Wanjigi might be working behind the scenes to make sure that Raila Odinga do not ascend to power, and he might support. I'll not be surprised if I see him supporting William Ruto. Remember, his initial script was to make sure that he blocks Kalonzo from joining Azimio. But that did not see the light of the day, and he was kicked from Oka. Then Kalonzo joined with the rest of the team. He's just that frustrated. But then, guys, what do you think? Despite of the good success at Kasarani, then there was Kasarani from Jimi Wanjigi. Should he be ignored? That's the question. And thank you very much. That's my analysis.